Good morning and good afternoon, math class. And we are now going to be taking on um, computing with integers. So, taking on a little bit more complex math ideas or computations, if you will. And we're going to look at specifically applying integer order of operations. And this should set you up for the next part of the, lessons, if you will. Excuse me. So we all remember PEMDAS, right? We could think of PEMDAS in our heads as please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or parentheses exponents, multiplying and dividing, adding and subtracting, okay? But we're going to take things a little bit differently because we got a couple of extra wrinkles we're going to throw in here, all right? So first things first, let's look at these parentheses. Now, the parentheses that they're speaking of here isn't necessarily the same as you see here. Remember here that we're using parentheses here to divide out or separate the -7 from the rest of the numbers. So we have 3 plus -7, and that's just working more as a separator. Now, we didn't used to use that back in the day, but we're using those now. But the parentheses that they're speaking of here are actually parentheses with a problem inside of it, all right, that needs to be solved. And you'll see that later on here. Now, sometimes you'll see these little brackets here or brackets here. And usually if you see especially these used, you might even see parentheses inside of them. But you won't experience that really until you get, much later on outside of the 6th grade. And of course, we can't forget about the train tracks here, which we know to be absolute value. So anytime you see any of these in a math problem, okay, then you need to take those on, all right, and solve what's inside of there first, okay? So that's going to be your first priority. Now, exponents, we're pretty familiar with here in the class because we've been drilling the idea of exponents with order of operations. Example, we push the idea here that 4 to the power of 2 is not the same as 4 times 2. In fact, let me underline that just to reiterate. It is not the same, okay? It is 4 times 4. You might even see, and let me click away here. Okay, we're good. We're good. We might even see, let me get to a black, save. You might even see something like 3 to the power of 3. And we'll put the 3 up here. 3 to the power of 3. That's not saying 3 times 3, which is 9, right? This is really saying 3 times 3 times 3. Let me use my text tool here. So it's really saying, again, 3 times 3 times 3, which equals 27. Okay? So just remember that there. I'll put this right up here so we can kind of see that. Again, if I'm putting it in my notes, you should put it in your notes, right? So there you go. Now, here's the thing here. We know that we're supposed to take on multiplying and dividing, but we always want to work from left to right, as if in a book, right? So let me go back to this. So we always want to work left to right. So left to right. And the same thing here for addition and subtraction. We start from the left, work to the right until we get to the end. Again, I'm sorry about the way those look, but, hey, they are what they are. So you should draw little arrows, and you should be all right there. All right, actually, let me do which symbol would be the arrow there. Let me do this. And, well, I could just use these symbols, all right? You could draw arrows if you want to, but I'm just going to use those to indicate that it is thus. All right, there's that. I'm going to copy that, draw a new box, Control V. We're going to line them up, all right? So again, always left to right, left to right, left to right. All right, so let's go ahead and put this then into action. So down here, we got a pretty simple thing here, all right? So first question asks us, are there parentheses? Well, the answer here is no. Not parentheses that need to be worked out. So I'm going to put in no. Now again, Mr. K, if you're thinking, Mr. Cato, what about this one right here? We said parentheses that need something solved inside. Okay? So the next one, are there exponents in here? No. All right. Is there multiplying and dividing? Yes, there is. What are we multiplying and dividing? Well, we have -4 times 3. Okay. So let's focus on that. Let's focus on the -4 times 3. We just learned that if we have a negative times a positive, okay, then what we do is, actually, let me get rid of that. Let me use the shape tool. There should be a shape tool in here somewhere. Stamp. At least I thought there was a shape tool in here. There's an insert image, stamp, whiteout, comment, highlight. Let's use a highlight. Alrighty, let's highlight that. There we go. All right, so we got that to take care of. Okay. Alrighty, so with that in mind, all right, we learned that negative times a positive is always going to yield a what kind of number? If you said negative, you're correct. All right, so we have -12. Okay, so there's -12 there. In fact, we could put that right there. And then we could say, all right, is there anything being added or subtracted? And we know the answer here is, of course, yes. And so we're taking -12 plus -7. We have two positive numbers, right? So all we're going to do is add 12 plus 7, which gives us 19. And then you say, hey, they have the same sign, and that sign is negative, so we have -19. All righty? And there you go for that first one. Let me make this look a little prettier. And there we go. Again, if I'm writing it or typing it, you should be writing or typing it. Okay? So let's go to the next one. Are there parentheses that we need to solve something? In this case, no. Are there exponents in something we need to solve? Again, no. Are we multiplying or dividing anything? Yes, we are. Again, I'll pick up that highlight tool. We are multiplying 5 times 11. Alrighty, so again, we're going to type in, or I'm going to type in yes here. And we have two negative numbers being multiplied together. So if I have two negative numbers being multiplied together, I'm always going to get a positive number. So we know that 5 times 11 is 55. Okay. Is there addition or subtraction? Yes. Okay. What is that addition or subtraction? Now that we've worked down to this far, okay, we have 55 plus -10, which is the same as 55 minus 10, which gives us 45. That makes sense, right? So far, pretty simple, pretty easy, because the only parentheses we've been dealing with are these separators for the negative numbers, okay? And that trend continues even down to here, okay? Again, are we dealing with parentheses of problems that need to be solved? The answer is no. Are there exponents in there? I don't see any. Is there some multiplying or dividing? Yes, there is, all right? What do? Do we multiply or do we divide first? All right, what do? We multiply or divide first? Well, there is no parentheses separating it out. We work from left to right. Left to right. So the first thing I'm going to solve then is, although there is a -5 times 2, I'm going to hold off on that because we think left to right. So I'm going to solve this one first, okay? So in this case, we think, all right, multiply or divide, we think left to right. Thusly, we multiply or divide first. I can type today. Divide first. All right. So what are we doing? We're dividing, right? 25 divided by -5. So that's 25 divided by -5. And we end up with, of course, 25 divided by 5 is 5. We got two negative numbers, right? Two negative numbers. So if we got two negative numbers, we get a positive. So that answer is, of course, 5, right? Now we multiply, all right? 5 times 2. I'm going to use the highlight tool. 5 times 2, we got two positive numbers. So that makes it a positive. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay. And now we have subtracting, right? Or addition in this case, because we got plus negative. So 10 plus -12 is, of course, -2. Pretty easy so far, right? I think so. All righty. So I'm going to stop this video right now, and then we're going to do a couple more. So this will be like a part 1 and a part 2, okay? So I'm going to stop right now, and then you can pick up right away for this next page on part 2.